Hello and welcome to the show. Today we're joined by Lou Collins, who's going to show us some wonderful, messy techniques using the Artiste Shimmering Spritzing inks. Hi Lou, welcome along. What have you got to show us this time?
I've got a lovely card here today and it's got a handmade background.
Beautiful.
This was just plain white cardstock, just like this.
Wow.
We've totally changed it with the Spritzing inks.
Fantastic.
Loads of shimmer in there. I don't know if you can see it if you move it about a little bit. Really shimmers and shines, beautiful. Fantastic. And I've distressed the edges as well. So lots of messy techniques.
Beautiful. Right, let's get started.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're going to be using the Artiste Spritzing inks, and I know this is one of your favourite products, isn't it?
Definitely.
We, when they first came out, we made a really important note that Louise definitely wanted to have a go with these, and so we popped her down for that project straight away.
Yes,
so let's see what you've got to share with us.
Absolutely love them. So I'm going to start with some water as a base on my glass mat because this won't soak up any of the ink.
Nice and wiped clean as well.
Yes. So we need quite a bit of water. I'm going to start adding our colour. I've used a little bit of green, not a lot. So there's 2 squares there. This is how you'd normally expect to use Spritzing inks. But one tip, because the colour does settle at the bottom, don't shake them up and down because powder can get inside the tube and it can clog them up. So shake them side to side or roll them to mix it up.
That's a great tip.
Or, I mean, if you want to, you can lay them on their side to store them, but you'll still need to give them a bit of a shake.
Okay.
Don't do the up and down. So I'm going to use quite a bit of the blue.
That's a lovely colour, isn't it?
It's a beautiful colour. And this white is quite translucent, but there's a lot of shimmer in here. So we're going to add some of this.
Beautiful.
I'm also going to add some brown around the edges.
And this is the dye ink, the Artiste inks there.
And spritz a bit of water. Can you see them starting to mix?
That's brilliant. That's pretty beautiful, I would say.
It is. Now, here's the magic bit. We are literally going to drop this in and swirl it around, pick up all of that ink. So we'll start over at the browns, bring them into the blues. And as you lift it up, see the colours. I'm going to redo it a few times until you're happy with how much colour has been picked up. You can see my hands are getting really messy. Now that's our base. Another technique.
Ooh.
Is take the whole thing off. If you don't hold this, you're likely to knock it over. So
Wherever
keep
you
it
put
in one
it.
hand. We're just going to tap some of the ink off. There we go, and that'll just leave some darker spots.
Brilliant. It's lovely on the textured card, isn't it? It sort of bleeds into the little furrows, doesn't it?
So we're going to dry that off before we work on the next stage.
Fantastic.
Now that will take about 10 minutes or so to dry.
Okay.
And what I like to do is leave it overnight to make sure it's thoroughly dry all the way through and press it between a book or something heavy to flatten it back out.
Otherwise it will be all curly.
Yeah. So as you can see on here, we've distressed the edges, but we've also got a green stem in the middle.
Ah, that's lovely.
Now while it's flat, we're going to do our stamping and our green stem first.
Okay.
So we'll pop up a little bit of stamping. This is purely just background stamping. We're going to do it ever so lightly, using again the Artiste ink pad.
Oh, I see. So you haven't gone too crazy inking it, just a little
really
touch.
lightly. I'm going to do it off centre as well. I'm hardly pressing on there at all. So you can just start to see a line.
Impression, that's lovely.
And on this, you can see I'm not using it on an acetate block. I like to be able to just roll it on. I don't want these square edges showing. So I'm going to almost sort of stamp a diamond shape when applying my ink.
Brilliant.
So I'm not going right to the corners. So you want it to fade in and out. And then I'm going to roll it onto my...
Fantastic.
So I'm going to start here and just roll it on, roll it off again.
Brilliant.
Very faded.
That's lovely.
That's perfect for what we want.
That looks great. Just that impression of something going on there,
It's just
isn't it?
Just adds to the background. I mean, you can see those blue spots that we did in the background where they've blended slightly before they've dried. Right, from the top of where your flower is going to be, you want to gently depress, and you'll see some come down.
Wow.
And let that fall. We'll do a couple.
That's fantastic.
There we go. And just so this isn't too strong a colour, I'm just going to dab my kitchen roll over there so you can still see it. There we go.
It's lovely.
There, so we'll give that a 2-second dry. It won't take long to take any excess off.
Wonderful.
There we go. Right, the next stage is going to be our edges.
Lovely.
I've run some scissors around them. Still got green ink on my fingers. So I'm just roughening up these edges. There we go.
Beautiful.
Now I'm going to add a little bit of water again as before. With some of my brown ink. A little bit of foam. And just drag it onto your paper.
Oh, that's lovely and delicate.
It's just taking onto the edges there. Those, you hear the squeaking on the glass. So the next piece we're going to do is our flower.
This is lovely.
Now I've used these lovely nesting dies. I've chosen one of the dies from there.
It's a great one, isn't it?
And what I actually managed to do with the X-Cut Express is cut through 4 layers of this vellum all at once.
Now that's very handy.
Very quick. It really did take seconds.
This is the Madame Peyroux collection, isn't it?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So I am literally just screwing it up, but I'm being careful not to tear it if I can help it.
So rather than just balling it up, we're...
Yeah, I'm doing each petal.
In a controlled fashion.
Yeah. So I'm going to start by sticking the plain ones in the bottom with hot glue. There we go.
Very nice.
And then the ones with the stronger detail are going to go on top. I'm just sticking the centres. I don't want the outside stuck down because we want to manipulate them to bring them up a little bit. I'll add a new glue stick to that. There we go.
Very good. That's lovely, isn't it? Nice and dimensional.
Yeah. There we go. So if I can have one of the buttons, these are beautiful. Choose one for me. There we go. So I'm just going to position that. I'm not going to stick it on just yet because what I want to do is add the ribbon and the other bits that I've got.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Actually, what we'll do is we'll pop this onto our backing sheet first. Now here I've simply folded an A4 sheet in half.
Lovely.
So we'll give this a bit of a crumple. This is a bit daunting to some people. So there we go. So we've screwed it up, flatten it out a little bit. I'll pop this
Very
down.
nice. Just gives that hint, doesn't it, where it's sort of distressed. It's beautiful.
I want to just make sure some of these bits are really stuck down. So just in a few corners, add a bit of hot glue. The tape will hold it, but the glue will just
very
give that
sort of
extra strength.
undulating, yeah.
So like I say, we're going to position that there. And then add, this is the ribbon from the So Lovely collection.
Oh, yeah, they're lovely, aren't they?
They are beautiful, and this is going to be part of our stem. So we'll position that, make sure it's cut at the right length, and then glue this down.
That's good. And that fine nib makes that really easy, so it doesn't all ooze out, doesn't it?
So now that's in place, we can pop our flower at the top of the stem.
Fantastic.
Now I've also just an extra bit. I've used these stamps again. These alphabet stamps to write my sentiment, stamp my sentiment onto a card using the same colour ink, just onto a piece of brown card.
Lovely.
So there we go. There's our card with our
that's fantastic.
distressed background.
Wonderful. If you've been inspired by Lou's project, we'd really love to see what you come up with. Maybe you've been trying some new inking techniques or making your own embellishments like Lou did with the flower here. If you have been getting busy, send us an email to tv@docrafts.com and we could show your project on a future episode of Do Crafts TV or even in a future issue of Creativity magazine. Until next time, happy crafting.